All right, my dear, I'm going to get that amendment out right now. So.
All right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. So remember our rules. Phones off. If your phone rings during the presentation, you have to answer it on speakerphone. All right, remember that's the deal. Someone's going to do it, and we're going to talk to somebody. Mom? Yeah, exactly. What, Mom? So I'm going to shut up and move right through this. So you're welcome. So I don't, just to kind of put into context the value here. So I've admired and followed Laura for a really long time. She's very involved in LIBOR and NISAR, and my former broker, and she go way back. And so I met her a long time ago, and Laura had this kind of like great presence. You know, when you meet somebody and you're like, that person's a player. Like they got it together. And I just knew I was in the presence of something special and somebody who's really a master of their craft. So it's very moving and touching to have her here. And this really is the power of Elliman, is the pool of knowledge that we have here. So I've been told that I have to have Laura in here because she does the best listing presentation, prepares incredibly well, and gets great commissions in one of the most commission suppressed markets that we have, which is Queens. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up, move to the back. I'm going to soak up every bit because I want to learn it too. So without further ado, Laura, please.
Thank you. Now I'm like, I better deliver. I kept emailing him back saying, okay, like, really? I hope I still look like the photo because it wasn't that long ago, so I hope we still kind of have it together here. So thank you, Josh, for all of that. I really appreciate the kind words. So who here do I know? Like I know you, we've done business or interacted somewhere before within DE. Anybody? I know Beth.
You were the trading over in Walt Whitman.
Oh, way back. Oh, remember Super Tuesdays? How long have you been around? Super Tuesdays were a long time ago. At the corporate office on Tuesday nights, they would have a training class. And everybody would come from everywhere, go to Super Tuesday, and then go to the bar at the restaurant on the corner and network and hang out. So that was a while ago. Yeah, I used to do Super Tuesdays too. So, well, it's a pleasure to be here. My market and your market, completely different. But one thing that remains the same all the way through is the company that we work for. I've been with DE for 18 years. 2005, in same office, went into the Bayside office, so I've been there for 18 years. I also, now probably about, I lose track of time sometimes, probably about maybe the last 10 years, I've also been assistant manager there to Donna Reardon. So I have the double role. I train with the agents, I'm the problem solver, and I help out. Also, I'm a full-time working agent out there all the time, working just like you. So I'm very happy to share the listing presentation. Who here had a listing appointment this week? Anybody? Okay, good. How'd it go? Good, right? How about in the last 2 weeks? Right, good, very good. I always ask that in my office too. I want to see what's going on. All right, who here feels that maybe you could tweak and update or perfect I'm calling it a presentation, it's a consultation, it's a conversation, it's everything. But just for the sake, I'll call it a presentation. Who feels you could up it a bit, maybe? We all could, I could. Since my last one, I said to myself, I think I want to change this. Because you learn something new all of the time. You see things from a different perspective, and you'll go, I think maybe I'll adjust this, put more emphasis on this, or whatever it may be. So this is always evolving. I still have my listing presentation from maybe 18 years ago in a leather-bound loose leaf, sectors, and all of the, my awards, the certificates were in there, and it was like this fat of all these millions of different things. I still have that, and I look back and I said, oof, I was really organized, but I really didn't get to the point. There's a lot of information. I probably could have put quite a few people to sleep if I went through every page in that 2 inches of material in there. So I keep that. It's right in my office right there, and I look at that all the time. And I pick up and I say, wow, how you change over the years. So one thing that I find with DE is the resources, the endless amount of resources that we have to create us to be the most professional. Now, aside from the training is, who's on the training sessions at all? On the webinars. Just get on them, do the podcast, just listen, just boom, and you're picking up this so much information. Who here has done the boot camp? How'd you like the boot camp?
It was good.
Right? Do the boot camp. I have an agent on my team, and she's experienced. She goes, I'm doing the boot camp. Go do the boot camp. She's sharing with me. I said, oh my God, I have to do the boot camp. So much information, it's great. But when it comes to the listing presentation, I see you have on the wall in the back, what do you call those now? Because we used to call them slicks. Slicks, right? The slicks, right? Who uses those? We should all use those. Do you use every one of them?
Nope.
Why?
They can choose what you like for their client.
Right? It may not apply. May not apply, right? Especially in Queens, we have beautiful ones, and it has like lighthouses. Like, oh no, it doesn't apply, you know? That's not. So I need to maybe tailor things for each appointment specifically, because I want to target this seller, I want to target this property. So anytime I have a listing presentation, it's always a little bit different, because I'm going in with intent. And I always have in my mind, even if it's one of those appointments that I would refer to as a slam dunk, which is like, referral, just go in. I go in fully prepared. I won't go in thinking, never think, because that neighbor will always go, I have a real estate agent for you. We should never think we've got it until we have it, right? So I always go in regardless, thinking that I'm either one of three or up against three. And how am I going to beat them out? How am I going to shine? What am I going to do that's going to make the seller, after they meet with me, think, how can I not use her? Right? I go in with that mindset. How am I going to blow their socks off? How am I going to kill this? Right? It's that competitive thought. I'm going up against other people. What am I going to do? Right? So I create my listing presentation, and I tailor it. I utilize, it's all on Douglas, under marketing, somewhere, the PowerPoint version of every one of those slicks and beyond. Who's ever seen those already there? Right? They're in there and beyond. So I would take them, I download them. There's like 90, I don't even know how many. The file is tremendous. I don't need this one, I don't need this one, I eliminate. And then the PowerPoints that I feel I like, that I resonate with, that I could deliver on my presentation, I still customize them in PowerPoint. I make them me. I just don't go, what's the text that's on that particular, I don't talk like that. That's not my real message. My message is this. So I will put a text box over that text box and describe what I'm going to do, what I'm going to deliver. So I really personalize it. I'm going to share these with you. I had it in a PowerPoint. Love PowerPoint. About the putting together a listing presentation. But first I want to show you. Every office has different, you have these folders, of course. And do you have them with the thicker? Mm-hmm. Okay, I like the thicker one because I like stuffing the packet that I'm coming with tons of stuff, right? So we have in my office the spiral bound with the clear plastic, and I was on that kick for the longest time. Loved it because I put this awesome back page on there that if they turned it over, there was Laura, and it was great. And then I went, I'm kind of feeling this now. So we have these. So right now I've been feeling this, and because if you're confident in what you're bringing, it's going to show. And Todd and I were talking. There was one time I was on an appointment, and I had the book. And I take out the book, and I go, I prepared all this information here. It's for you, and we're going to go over it. And then the husband from across the table says, I shared it with him, and he had it. And he goes, well, I'm not paying any more than 3%. So I leaned over, and I took my book. And now I had the book. And the wife was over here, and she grabbed the book, and she said, no, we want you. So they saw such value in the material that I was bringing. I was like, wow, they love this book. You know, people want to see what's in there. What is that you prepared for me, right? So what I put in here are the slicks, the customized slicks, and the CMA is in here. I don't separate them. I used to. But then I said, you know what? If I leave, and I leave my stuff behind because I really don't care. They're going to find out what something's worth online or from somebody else. Take it. I don't care, right? That's what I do. Hasn't been a problem. I do it. So in here, let me just jump back a second. I have the CMA is in here. I have property information and all the slicks that are up in the front. Okay? And I customize it. I take a picture of the front of the house. This is their book. And how I like to say it, this is like me in the book. This is what I'm doing, I'm presenting, this is what I'm going to give to you, this is how I'm going to service your listing, everything is here. So I like to say there's 4 components, as we all know, to a listing presentation. And it's in the packets here, and I'll give them out. 1, the information is about who? Them. We have information about the property. Aside from the CMA, we have information about what else? Me? What else? Company. And then we have the CMA, right? So whatever order flows with you, it's great. I put the company first, and then I put me. And what I do when I'm on an appointment is usually I try to find out how did they find out about me before I got there. But I always want to ask first, did you Google me? Because if they Googled me, they know about me, and why should I start going, I know I was this and that and this and that, you know. I said, so you already know, and then I'll throw a couple of what I feel is important in there. So you already know that I've been doing this for 20 years full time. So you already know that this area right here is my immediate market, and my office is right there on Bell Boulevard. So the things that I know that would matter, that would drive it home, I would hit. Not all the other things. I sold 32 homes, you know, unless I had to, right? So I do company, and we'll look at all of these. Company, and then I just have, this is my bio. My bio is on DE. My bio is on Realtor.com. My bio is on Zillow. My bio, that same bio, I change it in the beginning of every year, because if you have years in there, the years change. Right? It has to be updated, but it is that same bio anywhere anybody looks on the internet, they're going to be reading that most updated thing about me. They're Googling you. They are absolutely Googling you. Who here feels confident in your bio? It's good? You feel confident? Give it a read. You know, sometimes I like to change a couple of things. And like at the end of it, you know, usually always you put a little personal twist. And she resides with her family and enjoys skiing and, you know, whatever. And I'm like, you know, I didn't like skiing this year that much. I like hiking now, you know, and I'll put whatever it is, and just to refresh in my own brain for myself. But I have something in there about me. And then about their property. And these are all the slides, and I take them and I edit them. And I'm going to leave this book here, by the way, so that you can all have the book. In Queens, you know, we go in, we pull out public record. I could pull out CO, I could pull out the tax bill. If they have any violations, bump, bump, bump. Maps, I take it all, I put it in here. And they go, wow. I go, well, I did my homework. If I didn't do such research, how could I accurately advise you? So what is that saying? The agent that's coming in without all this stuff really didn't do their research, did they? You know, so sometimes I say I might kill a tree, but I get my point across. You know, so there's that information. They love maps. Take a map, there you are. Here's a tax map, here's a zoning map, here's a map. They go, let me see. They want to see, right? Building department and the tax bill. And then we'll talk about the taxes and whatever. So they like to talk about themselves and their property, right? Check it back. I'm in the CMA. I use the Stratus CMA. I'm comfortable with it. I can deliver with it. Who uses RPR? I know there's training now with the RPR too, that they have out now that in DE with the training. What else would you use?
I use the buy-side CMA.
Buy-side.
That one's really nice, and then I usually will email the link to it afterwards. afterwards because it tracks the last time they opened it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see if they're coming back and like they're talking about me.
That's right. See, isn't that, do you do that? Who does that?
What is buy side? Is that?
Oh, when you go into Studio, if you go into Studio Pro, depending on how it's set up, there is like all these icons up in the corner. Am I saying it right? Who's been in there recently? All the apps, right? Just click on them. You'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know we had this, right? Who knows that through the buy side that you could create a QR code and put it either online, send it out in a postcard that all a homeowner has to do is scan it and they can find out the value of their property and you're collecting their data. Just go click and it's there, right? So you can use this stuff on social media, 1, 2, 3. Do it in your mailings. But go through all of those little apps, up, click, 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 look at this, look at this, look at this. And that buyer, used to be the buyer funnel, but it still has the buyer information of how many buyers are in. How powerful is that stuff?
It's in the buy side CM.
It's all in there, right? It's awesome. So research these things. See, Josh is like, he loves it, it works, he knows how to do it. This one, now I feel is kind of boring, so maybe I'll go back and take a look at that and see, right? I know this one so well, I could deliver it that well. You know, so it's important that you're confident with what you have, but learn something else. The DERPR training, I think it's going on at least once a week. I saw it come out in an email. Check that out. Sometimes that'll impress somebody and knock their socks off, you know? So what I do with the listings is I'll print out the full client copy with all of the photos because they love to look at the other homes and the photos. And we'll take a lot of time and go through here and circle, this is like you, X, this is not like you, right? And what are we doing the whole time? Working towards a price. And they'll go, where is that? What's that address? What's that address? And I go, okay, right here. It's just a couple of blocks from you. They have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and their lot size is a little bit bigger than you. And I circle, because by the time you're talking about price, they already realize, before they, thinking here. So we venture through the book. I don't force anything on them. If they, you watch the body language. If something's not flying, let's move on to the next thing. But you want to drive home the things that are important. And the things that are most important are the things that how you specifically deliver them and the things that DE has and nobody else does. Love it. We were just talking about one of them. One of the many. I created a slide that has a screenshot of the morning emails that we get. It's here. I said, do you know what I get every morning? I love this. I get this every single morning, and so does every agent in my company. I get a list of every single Douglas Elliman listing that's in my region and my area. So your property is marketed even before it's marketed among all of the Douglas Elliman agents. Isn't that great? And I said, even better than that, before it's even on the market, we get a sneak preview email. So all the DE agents can share that listing even before. It's amazing. And then they go, wow, that's really good, because they can picture that happening to them, right? So I like explaining things in a sense, not what I do. They'll go, well, what do you do to market? Well, we'll do an open house. I'm going to put you on the MLS. I'm going to do just listed cards. I do professional photography. I do a floor plan. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Everybody does. Oh, and we'll put a sign on the lawn. Everybody does that, right? Everybody, basically, we kind of all do the same thing in this business, do we not? Right? So it's not what you do, and that applies to this when you're at the appointment. It's how you do it. So as an example, at a listing appointment, a homeowner will say, do you do open houses? And when somebody asks you that, what do you say?
Yes.
Before you say yes, do you like open houses? Because before you go, absolutely, I do the best open house, they go, well, I don't want any. You already got, how do you feel about open houses? Because maybe they like them out here. In Queens, sometimes they're like, I don't want people in my house. You know, it's different. You know, so we ask, how do you feel? Well, I'm a little iffy. Why? Because if there's an objection, come on, let's deal with it now, right? So we go through that. How do you feel about open house? So does every agent basically do an open house? Well, they should kind of, or maybe, whatever. But isn't that a normal part of marketing is the open house? You put the sign out, no more balloons, the helium, the birds, whatever the story is. I don't know. I just don't do it anymore either. It takes too much time to go to the office to blow up the balloons. So what I say is, how do you feel about open houses? Well, they're okay. Awesome. This is how I do an open house. What we will do is we'll put you, this works all the time, and I've had a lot of success with it. So what we'll do after the photography, we will target to go on the market no later than Wednesday. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on when the floor plan comes in. I'm bringing them into this whole thing with me, and they're picturing themselves. So this is what we'll do. We will post an open house on that Sunday. Our target will be first showings at that open house. Now, I know I need written instructions for that because more than 3 days, what do you have to do for a listing? Temporarily off the market. But at the time, we'll get the written instruction. So what we'll do is we'll have first showings at that open. I call that the introductory open house, where I'm introducing your property to the market. Awesome success. Awesome success when I do this. The anticipation builds up. I get the phone calls. I know the people who are coming. We're all set. I'm not here by myself. I have other agents. We manage this wonderfully. And we get all of these people in at the same time. And what does that create? Perhaps a sense of urgency. They see how many people are interested. It'll promote the offers. Now, isn't that a lot better than saying, yeah, I do an open house on Sundays? So it's how I do it. Right? You know, how you do anything. How do they go, you know, so what do you do when you show? Oh, let me explain to you how I show a property. And again, this has worked successfully for so many years now. I find this is the best way. And then I'll share what I would do on a showing. They would go to you. I know it's different here. You do lockbox. I haven't found one in Queens yet, right? You do lockboxes and showing time. Yep. We don't do showing time. We put our cell numbers on the listings, and we get the calls direct from the agents. Or text messages for there's no formal system. No. So it's my phone all the time. So we text. It's just how it is. It's just how it is, right? Yeah. So, you know, the calls will come in or whatever it is, right? So how do you do a showing? You share, well, this is what I do. I have an agent. I said, you know what I found to be very important and very successful? You know, you share these things. It's worked before. The last 3 homes that I have sold in this area, this is what was successful. They're like, oh, I want to have a part of that. So it's how you do it. So I'll say, well, you know, I don't give out keys. And I know you don't do this here, different market. For the most part, we're present at every showing. It's probably a lot easier for us to get around too. Things are a lot closer, right? So I said I'm present at every showing. If I'm not available to be there, one of my team members will be. I will not give out your keys. And we'll always be there because sometimes the sellers have concerns. Well, we know in Queens too, if you ever give out the keys, you have to leave $20 at the front desk. What? Yeah.
Yes, it's
and
you find a place to park, then you have to give them money.
Then
you literally end up like almost in tears and say,
and then bring the keys back in an hour. So when I used to show in Forest Hills with all the co-op buildings, pretty much now what they do, oh my God, I can't even. All right, doesn't matter. Okay, sometimes you've never seen the listing agent from beginning to end. But I'd have to come out with like $100 in 20s because I'd have to go to a bunch of different offices and ditch out the money and get the keys. And then have to go back, and you can't, where you park in Forest Hills? There was one office that I'd say, I'm outside and I can't park, and they go, we're sending the elevator down to street level, throw the keys in the elevator. Would a seller appreciate that? It's like horrible. So I know how agents show, I know what they do, and I say, I don't manage things that way. I am here to represent you in your home. I am present all the time. And sometimes I go as far as, shame on me if I say, I know it's different here, okay, because you're differently, so this is not a reflection on how you do things here. I said, shame on me if I send an agent to show your property and you open the door and you have to walk them home and you walk them through and I'm home watching TV. It doesn't make sense. So I'll always be here. Because that's how I do business anyway. For 20 years, I was always there. If I can't be there, I'm going to have a team member there. It's just the way it goes. So they find value in that. And I know if I'm up against this one, and this one, I know how they do. I said, no key. No key. This house is my responsibility when it's listed with me. It's like, wow. Because I'm thinking of what the next guy is going to say when he comes in. So you take that same concept here in your market and you make it work. But it's not what I do. We all have that list. What was it? The 30-point marketing plan. What was that thing they taught us? Or 25-point. We all have it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And they get excited with you along the way. So back again to this, right? At the presentation, you come, you're sharing the information, you're bringing them into it, you're discussing it. Always have a conversation, right? We're discussing it, and I go, oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness, I have to share this with you. This is my favorite thing. And whatever my favorite thing is at the time, I'll share my favorite thing. Whether it be express docs, a property brochure, whatever it is. I get excited about it. And I share it. Because I'm always thinking the next guy is going to come in and go, wah, wah, wah. And then 3%. So I want, the wah, wah, wah. I don't want them to hear the 3%. And I'm going to be honest with you. How many times I've gone in on appointments, come prepared like that, confident in my pack. I'm leaving this with you. I did this all for you. Oh, my God, you're so prepared. That looks so professional. Well, that's how I do business. That's how I do business. I wouldn't do it any other way. Next guy, right? Wouldn't do it any other way. So you come in, you go. I just lost my thought for a second there. Where was I before that? Who was listening?
So what's your
You said about the next guy coming in.
The next guy's always coming in. Forget about the
your favorite thing? Tell me what your favorite thing is.
Oh, yeah, no, and yeah, and always about, share what your favorite thing is. There was something else, too. There was something.
Yeah, you were saying about the guy.
Oh, yeah, that's how.
So the next guy's going to come in not prepared like you.
No, the next guy's never going to come in prepared like me. They're just not. They're just not. And even when it comes down to sharing forms, okay? A lot of times now I just do it electronically or whatever. But with the forms, I take that agency disclosure form and I work that into how valuable I am of an agent because I know what this really means. Right? And I would here's an example. That's why just know your stuff. And this is an agency disclosure form. What you're going to be signing today is that I'm an agent of the seller. But what's very important to know about this and how it works is that when another agent comes and they bring an offer, or even when they're showing the house, it's very important for your listing agent to know if that agent's representing the buyer or not. Because they may be in that buyer's camp looking to get the lowest price. So what I do all of the time is I am sure when the showing is happening or when an offer comes in that I know if that's a buyer's agent or a broker's agent. You know why? Because negotiations are going to be different. When it comes down to negotiating, I know who I'm dealing with. I don't know how many other agents follow that through. I really don't, but I do. So I have that understanding. What do they care about? Negotiations. When it comes down to that, I always check and I know who I'm working with. Buyer's agent, broker's agent. Sometimes they go, I don't know. Do they not? They don't even know what they are, right? You got to figure out what they are, right? But negotiations, you need to know who you're negotiating with. And if they don't know, you have to clarify for them what they are at that point and how it's going to go from this point forward. So even sharing this is how I negotiate. This is what I do when offers come in. If it's a multiple offer situation, this is what we do. I'm going to put everything in a spreadsheet, line everything up, be sure I have all the paperwork, and then we're going to have a discussion. I can either come here and we could talk about it, or we could do it over the phone, whatever works for you. So it's the how. And they're involved in the process. They're not being spoken to about what you can do. And in that, when you're doing that, you're sharing with them basically your strengths. Because when you're delivering like that, you're delivering with your strengths. Because you're confident in this, you're confident in that, and they see that in you. Better than like, well, I'm with Douglas Elliman, and this is what Douglas Elliman can do. Bring you. I like to say in this book is me. The book in here is me. This is a clear representation of Laura, how she works, and how she's going to service you. Right here. Right in the book. And then also, Josh shared his 900 million postcards that you had in there too, right? Express Docs 1, 2, 3. Isn't that gorgeous? It's beautiful. So what do I do with the listings? Not the vacant studio co-op, that I wouldn't do with that, but I get 50 made. Not that much money. Not that much money. I don't give them out like this, right? I'll be at the open house, and I'll set them up through the house like this. One on the coffee table, one over there. I show the homeowner what I have, and it's out. And then I have them to bring on future listing presentations. This is what I did for the property I just sold. It's right here. Okay? And you show them, so they could say, oh, I'm going to get that. I'm going to have that. I'm going to have that. This is why I do that. I do this on every property. So while I will have a major highlight sheet with all of the information and the floor plan on the back, I will also have these made, and these will be present to represent your property. It's like, wow. Next guy. No, next guy. Nothing. No. Right? So that's why it's good, too, to know our competition. I'm going to pass this and hand that out, and we'll take a quick look at that. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
I have one question about when you were talking about, what I usually do is I put my listings up on Thursday, no shows till Saturday, Sunday. But what did you say about the instructions?
Oh, okay.
Writes the instructions?
Yes, written instructions from the homeowner. Written instructions from the homeowner basically are, I don't want to say to get around, but the MLS rules, okay? Because if you have written instructions from the homeowner, it could depending on the rule, it could override an MLS rule. So I like to put it on earlier in the week because it gives it that much more exposure to get out there. All right, I'm going to get to you, and I want to just jump to something else. When you take a listing and you put it on, even if the homeowner goes, I don't like them, I don't want them, just one, please. Introductory, I promise you, it'll go smooth. I'll only do it an hour and a half. I'll have 3 agents here with me. That first, when a listing hits the market, where is it going? Zillow, Redfin, everywhere. Every buyer that's looking for that type of property is getting ping, ding, right? When you have an open house scheduled, right away after you put it on, you'll have more of a chance for that direct buyer to come to that open house than call another agent to schedule an appointment to get in. So do that first open. Even if they hate them, try to get them just to do it. Because now you're driving, the buyers see it and they go, oh, I'm going on Sunday. No appointment. They'll go, well, let me call Susie, who I saw 3 weeks ago. Let her call and make an appointment. Or let me click on one of these people here on the website. So if you want to drive the people to you, do that first one. And they come. And you'll see, they come. Right? So that's very important. So if you launch on a Tuesday and your open house is on a Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, you're about 5 days. MLS rule, if you're not can't be shown for more than 3 days, you're temporarily on the market. Unless you have written instructions from the homeowner. So what do the written instructions say? When you're at the listing appointment, say, this is part of my launch strategy to get the majority, the most amount of people, the majority in at this introductory open house. This is it. So what we'll need is just instructions from you, whether you have a form and they check it off, or you're right, you create a form, whatever it is, no showings till, and you put the date. So you're on MLS, and the agent goes, do you know? You're supposed to, I have written instructions from the seller. You want me to email? I can email them right now. I don't attach stuff like that to the listing because, TMI, nobody needs to know everything. If you know the rules and you want to ask me for it, I'll send it. If you don't know the rules, I'm not helping you. right? Not helping you. Go learn the rules. I'm not giving you stuff. Ask for it, right? Ask for it. So, and you have the written instructions. I do written instructions for all offers through the listing agent. I kind of like that. I'm in the Wild West, gets crazy, need the control. Homeowner has no problem with that. Otherwise, the MLS rule is any cooperating broker can be present during the presentation of an offer. Did you know that? Okay, here's the scenario. I'm a listing agent, and Beth comes, she works with another company, and she submits the offer. She's a broker's agent, so that means she's working along with me. She's not representing the buyer. So I said, all right, that's cool, you know. So she calls us, I have an offer. Great, Beth. Again, are you buyer's agent, broker's agent? She goes, I'm a broker's agent. What I say then is, great, you're working with me. Let's make it clear, broker's agent, right? If you're a broker's agent, you're working with me to follow my direction, my instruction, right? Boom, boom. Okay, great. What's the offer? So-and-so, whatnot, right? So then we submit the offer, and I go, Beth, we have a counter. You know, the counter is $500,000. Beth, I'd like to be present on the submission of that counter offer. I can. Yes, I can. Also, I can if it is a buyer's agent, if the buyer doesn't have written instructions that the listing agent is not. So it can happen in reverse. MLS rules, yep.
But don't we
In the submission.
MLS rules, we select whether we're
No, but she's talking about the
Presenting.
buyer.
The buyer.
Flip side.
The counter, when you counter offer. You could be present during a counter offer.
I had no idea.
So what do you say when you have that agent that says, what are you talking about, it's my buyer? But broker's agent or no buyer's agent?
Read the MLS rules, please. And I don't know the number off the top. It's maybe 30 something, whatever. Yeah, MLS rule 3, so I can be present. And listen, to think about it, right? You're representing your seller. Here's an agent, and you don't know what they're saying. Are they delivering that counter correctly? You don't even know. So you can say, you know what? I want to be present on the counter offer.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. So that's a step further that we could even say, now look, we just learned something. We just got something new. I'm on a listing appointment, and so you know something? You know what my practice is? Just to be sure that your counter offer is delivered correctly, unless there's other written instructions, I'm going to be present on all the counter offers. Sorry, next guy.
So, I literally have a listing that I just put out just to Douglas Elliman, it's not on MLS. A Douglas Elliman agent gave me an offer yesterday, lowballed it, talked to my seller. They don't really want to have an open house, so now they just came back with a counter offer. So I'm gonna call him as soon as we're done, but if he wanted to be there, he could be there. Am I understanding?
Do you have written it? Well, you're the same company. So now is
All right,
it,
so let's say he wasn't with Douglas Elliman, then what?
okay, so that's different. If you don't have written instructions from your homeowner that all offers go through you, then a cooperating broker has the right to be present during the presentation of an offer.
Okay, so we do, I had them sign, that all
Okay,
offers have to go through me.
Okay.
So if he, because it's a counter offer, does that mean that if he said, I wanna be there?
No, it would be your way there.
You want to be there.
You want to be
It
there.
says the counter.
You're there. And it goes back the other way. Yes. Now you have to remember, if it's another DE, you're a seller's agent and they're a seller's agent. Now, if they're a buyer's agent, you both need to take your agency disclosure, rip it up, and sign a new one that the both of you are now dual designated. Because you're no longer a seller's agent and they're no longer a buyer's agent. You now are dual designated, the same company.
So we're dual designated?
You would be dual designated.
Alright,
If you're the same company, right? Right?
so
Yes,
right now,
I
so right now, if
definitely-
I call him back and say, okay, my buyers are gonna accept your offer,
Your sellers are going to accept the
I
offer.
mean, my sellers.
Yeah.
So now I really have to get new forms and rip that up.
Get a new form, because I always say this, it takes one person to have a bad day to file a complaint. Every single complaint to the DOS gets investigated. no matter what. Whether it's a year, 2 years later, there will be an investigation. I've gotten those calls where I got swept up in someone else's stuff, but I see the call come, what is it, what's the area code up there, 518, right? 518, why is Albany calling me? This is investigator so-and-so, do you remember back in whatever, and I was like, oh shoot, that's right, my buyer filed a complaint against that listing, and they were calling me to investigate it. Every single one gets investigated. Never mind fair housing, that's a whole other thing, don't even go there, right? But just with agency, one person to get upset and have a bad day and just go, that office in Babylon, right? That's it. So just be sure. Another thing, I'm just going to pop to agency again, since we're sort of there. The listing, I have a listing, okay, and this is going against my usual practice because I'm not there for the showing, right? And Susie from ABC, I go, Susie, buyer's agent, broker's agent. Oh, I'm a buyer's agent. More reason I really should be there, but I can't be there. So I said, okay, Susie, go. When Susie comes into that open house, and not open house, for that appointment, and I am not there as the representative of the seller, Susie is supposed to take an agency disclosure form, give it to that seller, and disclose that she is a buyer's agent, and the seller's supposed to sign it. Because she's representing, when we're at an open house, I represent the seller. Do we not have to tell any member of the public? Same thing the other way around. So if you're representing a buyer and you're showing a property and the listing agent is not there, you, licensee, have the obligation for the homeowner to sign that. You are face-to-face with a member of the public because you could start having a conversation. Oh yeah, when you're moving, what's your lowest? They need to know who you represent. They're not protected at that moment. So that's supposed to be done as well. With that, in that regard,
I do that every time.
You do?
I am learning right now.
Just these little things. Because, oh my God, with all the testers that are out and everywhere and ever, I have one right now on me for a condo rental in Forest Hills. You get a text message that she's telling me her age, how many children, and everything else, like a list like this, and sends me a picture of herself. Come on. I'm like, when do you want to see it? We're going Saturday at 12. I'll show you anything you want. So it's just one person to get upset. Years ago, working with these buyers, we showed a long time ago, because we were in another Bayside office, young couple, mom's coming along, right? They see a house, they love it, they put in an offer. What happens? Doesn't get accepted. The mother gets more upset than the young couple. The mother calls the Department of State, files a complaint that her daughter and husband were not treated fairly, named that brokerage, and named me and Douglas Elliman. And like a year later, here's this thing in the mail. Donna goes, I got a copy, you got to go, oh, what did I do? I haven't done anything. Look back at all the emails, and all the emails showed, the right communication and everything. And I said, you know what? And I was working with another agent on my team, and she was involved too. I said, Diane, call the mother. You and the mother would laugh. Call the mother and ask the mother what happened. Because this is so much later. Who wants the DOS investigating you? So she called the mother. Mother goes, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I was so mad when that happened. So Diane says there is a form that the DOS has where somebody can retract their complaint. So Diane said, if I send you this form, can you please sign it and send it in? And she says, oh, of course I will. Wow. See, it takes one. This wasn't even the buyer. This was the mother. She was pissed off. It calls it DOS. If I didn't have all my emails, if I got all prepped and said it, So you don't know. So just be sure that everything is done right and said right, and you're covering everything. So we're going to pass these out. Any questions in the meantime? And then we'll wrap it up. We can go this way.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Of course not.
In such a commission compressed market, I know you get it all the time, right? You say what your commission rate is. It's 10%, right? You deserve it. They go, well, down the street, someone's doing it for 3, right? So can you walk me through that? I'm sure.
Okay, that's good, because the thing that I forgot before, I just remembered now. Okay, so for the most part, when you're at the appointment and you're delivering like with your passion and your strengths and you're sharing the information and you have them engaged, I can't tell you how many times, and I got up to that and stopped talking, I don't know why, can't tell you how many times that we got to do the paperwork and they never even asked about the commission. They saw the value, they were engaged, they wanted it, and it was there. And then you just go right on, put all 6 right in there, and let's keep going, right? So it's that value that with everything that you're doing. So what do we get in my market? They're going to do it for 2. They're going to do it for 3, right? We get that all of the time, all of the time. So sometimes I do it by true reaction, and I kind of surprise myself, but depending on the rapport and how it's going, like if they ask on the phone, what do you do?
We'll talk about that when we get together.
Say, oh my goodness, everything is adjustable and flexible. I promise you, whatever it is that we come up with together, you'll be comfortable with. I promise you. And if he's not comfortable, I leave, right? Now, so, I promise you'll be comfortable, don't worry. Side thought, when is good for you? Right? Kind of, you'll be comfortable, kind of put somebody at ease, right? So, never over the phone, ever. You just went, you're done. You're done, unless you said 2. They're going to compare you by the number. So you're at the appointment, and they say that first. Well, what's your fee? And I'll go, well, what do you want to pay? Now, I've said that before. Seeing if somebody's a little light, because you already walked through the house with them, right? And you kind of get a feel. And I'll go, I knew you were going to ask me that off the bat. What do you want to pay? And I've done that. And sometimes people go 6, and I go, you got it. Or sometimes, done deal. 5, I can take that, right? And when they go, and sometimes they won't answer. It depends. I can't do that with every person. But to the person that says like 3, I go, huh. And that's it. Now they have to respond. I responded. Now you respond.
What?
Just gasp.
Just let the
One time he said that, and somebody said like 3% in 3 months, and I went, and I went, oh my God, I really truly reacted like that without trying. It was like shocking, And I said, oh, I apologize, but but I was like, and now this is how I see it. I am not going to defend myself and my commission. If you want 3, you defend your 3. You tell me why you want 3. You tell me why 3 is so good. I'm going, well, I bring value and I'm worth it up with one of the largest companies. We're all over the place. I get emails every morning. It's not going to matter. Why am I doing that? I am not going to defend myself. You tell me why. 3. Huh? Yeah, they said 3. I said, wow. And why would you consider that? I'm not, well, you tell me. Why would you consider 3? Who knows what they're going to say? Well, my neighbor said, oh, did they sell recently? You dig and you go, well, listen. People can do 3, people can do 2, people can do 6. Let's have a discussion. Let's move on. We can talk about that later. I promise you that whatever it is that we agree upon, you will be comfortable with. And that's it. What are they going to say? No, tell me now? Yeah. But I gasp. Wow, really? 3? All right. And they're like, what's wrong with 3? It's just like you put that on there.
That's incredible. Well, the silence, right? So
silence it.
I've been working on my silence.
Me too.
No, but I've been working on my presentation. I said get comfortable in the pause.
Mm-hmm.
Well-scripted pause. Really, like it's a big matzo ball hanging out there. Why would you consider 3?
3?
Shut up, right?
That's just shut up.
Because you control the whole conversation.
Yeah.
With nothing coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, that's
Most
it.
people go humming, right? They go into their
Just,
value.
oh yeah, and I told you, stop. They're not even listening to you. Why are you getting on the defensive like I'm so good, pay me more? No. Why do you want to pay so cheap? Whoa, cheap. And and I'm still going to come up with something like this, but I'm not there yet. But every time I go in a dollar store, Do you think that the Tide in that jug is the same that you get when you go to your regular supermarket? It's not. It's a watered down version. Even the batteries aren't. Every single thing in the dollar store is not a deal. It's not.
It's the $1.25 store now.
Yeah,
$1.25. It's not a deal.
manufactured specifically for that store, for those stores.
They're meant for those things.
Years ago,
They
when we
are.
first started the Marshalls and all that, that was leftover manufactured.
But-
Now they're manufactured.
Stuff specifically for outlets, you know, it's a cheaper version. So I'm waiting, every time I go in like the dollar store, I'm going, oh, what am I gonna use as my big example at what is gonna like drive it home? So that's something that, you know, cause you pick something up, my daughter goes, Ma, look, I got Tide. I go, Lily, it comes out like this. Look at the other one, nice and slow. You know, I said, this is water. You didn't get a deal. But I don't think I'm going to bring jugs of Tide to a listing appointment. But, you know, the point, you're not getting a deal in a dollar store. You're not getting a deal with a super discount broker. I'm sorry. Would you trust a blank from the dollar store? And I have to come up with my blank. You know? Would you trust?
I always just ask them, what did you give up to get that 3%?
Yeah, that's a good response.
What are you giving up? That's a good one too. Yeah, they have to answer.
I have to answer, I just shut up.
Defend it, and that's it. Let them defend it. That's not up to me. If you're thinking 3%, that's on you. You know, and because that just like doesn't make sense.
I think everybody has their thing that they sell really well. Like, what's your thing that clinch, or your biggest differentiator when you're in that listing?
You know, the only thing, and I don't want to sound like, the only thing I can kind of say about that, it's me, you're getting me.
That's good.
You know, you're getting me, this is what I do. This is all that I do. I'm not a weekend warrior. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years. And I love my job. And they go, you know what? We can tell. I go, you see? You know, so I kind of they have to want me. You know, I don't know how much, do they want my lawn sign? Do they want my just listed card? You know, we all have that. How is Laura going to make all of that work for them? And that's where I bring in this is how I do. You know how I do that? This is how I'll do that. Even like sending out a just listed. Do you know how I send out those cards? I do a specific radius. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. You know, but it's not like I do a mailing. You know, bring purpose to it. Bring, you know, like, let them picture you sitting behind the desk doing this work. And then I go, now I remember when nobody had professional photography, I used to pay a photographer because I wanted to be different than everybody else around, right? Then DE got the photography. So now a lot of people have photography. So what do I say? We have professional photography. So does everybody else. So I go, oh, I don't do anything without professional photography, but this photographer that I work with, Steve, is absolutely fantastic. When we're at a property, he's patient with me, we move things, I get the best shots every time. Isn't that better than I do professional photography? And then I'll do a floor plan. Do you always do floor plans here or no? I know we have to pay for them. I do them no matter what because not everybody does them. So I pay for it. All right, big deal, right? But not everybody does them. So I'll come into a home. It might have unique layout or not. Your home, you need a floor plan. Buyers need to see the size of your den on a floor plan because that's not going to pick up in a photo no matter how good Steve takes that photo. So I'm going to do a floor plan for you. And that floor plan not only gets attached to the MLS, which everything gets attached to the MLS. I don't ever put emphasis on the MLS. It'll be on the marketing materials. It'll be on the Douglas Elliman website. It'll be on the email that I send out to the agent network. It'll be on this, right? So you take that thing and like you sell that thing with how you're going to do it, right? This house needs a floor plan. You need aerial photography. You need it. And I would not do without it. You're like, wow, look at what she sees and says and does, you know? So that's what I would kind of say to that. I kind of bring me with it because I bring them into, and they see like, oh, that's how and they see what I would do. and they want me to do it.
What I'm hearing, well, one is that you're very, obviously polished in your presentation over the years, but it brings me back to Brian Jada saying, people want a little bit of showmanship, right? Put on a show, right?
It's always a show.
It's always a show, right?
It's always
so
a show.
You're taking the same things, right? Like I was really, for a second in my office, I was really into Express Docs. Really shit, you said that? That's incredible. It was the same thing I do, but like it was just
Get into it.
the showmanship behind it.
Yeah, every time I get to an appointment, you prepare, you do whatever, you drive, you get there, I go, all right, open that door, let the show begin. I say to myself, and I go, put on that hat, and I become something else, and there I go. I'm going to become the best agent they have ever seen. And that's it. Do I get them all? No. Do I care? No. I really don't. I'll get another one, so if I feel, and what I like to do too is sometimes they answer, may I ask you, what is the reason why you didn't select me in my services? I'm just curious because if there's any way that I can either improve myself or, my marketing, I would like to know. And then I'd get back, well, actually the other broker was, my brother's girlfriend or some stupid thing like that they should have told you in the beginning, but try to ask that just to keep a thing going.
Joanne's the only one I know who does that.
You do that? I do that. Why not? Why not?
Oh, shoot, boobies. Okay.
Why not?
I'm the only one who doesn't.
Well, no, I do it. It's just like, don't just reject me without me saying something else. No, I'm still getting in there, Sometimes, too, I'll have no problem with saying, are you interviewing other brokers?
Yeah.
And they'll, are you interviewing other people? Yes, we are. That's excellent because you should. Are you doing 3? Because I would highly recommend that you interview 3 people. Because whoever you choose, you need to know that you feel so comfortable working with them for all of those months together. So it's very important that you're comfortable. And then they go, oh, Laura's making me comfortable. You're going to be with that person for that entire time for that listing. So whoever you choose, be sure, you feel good with them. Set that out there. I'm thinking the next guy is going to be like, something like that,
Well, even me, I know I got lazy. I realized, I was listening to myself, I got lazy because it was getting, it was fairly easy. Right?
Yep.
And now it's getting a little bit more difficult, Well, I guess you just get less opportunity right now, so you gotta make every one count.
Oh, yes, good point, good point.
I gotta,
Good point.
sharpen my pencil. So is there any Douglas Elliman features that you, or any of our tools or technologies that you really highlight right now, or that you feel have been attractive to the consumer more than others?
Well, the one thing that I'm big on now is the emails that we do get in the morning. And, I have a page for that, and I just say, if I didn't say it already, I say to them, do you know what I get every morning? I love that. Do you know what do you get? They go, what do you get? I get this email that you could be in every morning, right? I'm excited about that one. Because I know nobody else is getting that. Nobody else is really doing that. Sneak preview. Sounds so cool, doesn't it? All right? Certain things. And one thing that gets to, and I do it, so that's why I say it. I don't say things just to get a listing. I say things that I do. I say things that I believe in. I say things that I know work, right? And my whole process for the launch, what we do is I'll have the photographer come in. Oh, and this is what's good about my guy anyway. I'll text him at the listing appointment. Are you free on Tuesday? And through 9 o'clock, he goes, yes. I go, we got him. We didn't even talk about price yet, and we're already booking the photographer. And I'll say, this is my process. We'll do photos, let's say Thursday or Friday. I will do some virtual staging of your basement. And don't worry about all those books and stuff on there. I could do virtual declutter. Don't even bother yourself with that stuff. I'll take care of that. It'll probably take about 48 hours. So if we have photos on Friday, I'll probably have everything back, including floor plan. By Monday, I'll put it all together. We'll launch you on Tuesday, and then I go into with that open house and that whole strategy. I use the word strategy. I use success. I says it works all the time. So that's something that I use, because I do that, and I share that. I do that. And then I'll go, what little photos, I go with that date, and I literally book him, and he'll pencil me in, and I'll say, we've got him for 9. We've got him. Isn't this, he's so busy, and he made time for us. Oh my God.
That's the close.
Yeah.
What time is best for the photographer? Right, it's an assumptive close.
Yeah, there we go. Toom, 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 toom. I said, look, he answered me right away. Isn't that great? Told you he was good. Right? And we're going through. They sense that I'm really there to help them and get this done for them. It's not just I'm giving a pitch. I'm really there. I'm invested in helping to do this. And I package that all in here.
Felt like you
Put
took
all
me on a
together.
journey. It felt like you took me on a journey.
Yeah, we all went.
Go, come with me. Right. We're going with me.
And then I go, and then we go, then we do some CMA. So what do you think about that price, this, but I think that's good. I think we're all good. Sunday and then when they go, listen, boxbrownie.com if you don't use it. Boxbrownie.com, Australian-based company, so they're awake when we're not, right? It's way more inexpensive to have the photo, the decluttering, or they could take a day photo and make it dusk. They could declutter. I've had new bedding put on beds because they didn't make their beds. I've had entire rooms that had crappy furniture in it, have them remove the furniture and virtually stage with new furniture. That's okay. This is not the real estate property. These are the personal possessions. I'm not planting bushes, fake bushes, or doing anything like that, right? Not putting in new kitchens, not doing anything like that. Because they'll be concerned, well, I really have to, straighten it up. Don't worry about that. I'll take that right out. Really? Yeah. Look, right here, I show you, boom, boom, here's an example. I have a photo in here. Empty room to this, this to this. I said, no problem. I haven't done it for 48 hours. You mean I really don't have to straighten? No, and then you'll have like a week or two, before the open, kind of tuck this away, put that there. Don't worry about it. But I could have all of this done without it being that much of an inconvenience to you.
Even when it's like a really messy house.
Oh, really messy.
Because I have 3 really messy ones that I'm waiting for.
I don't wait. Listen, I will make it disappear. Box Brownie will do item removal. They could take a whole room of furniture out for $8. Virtual staging, I think, runs $24 a photo. If you have something vacant and you want to stage,
And they let you pick the furniture too.
It's
They
fun.
tell them the style.
what kind of style?
Dirty clothes and
Yes, so you just, yep. I've had, oh my God, I showed up for pictures at a prop. What did they unload the cabinets and put it on the counter? I had no idea what happened. I was like, I had it all taken out. Everything, kitchen looked beautiful, because that's what the real kitchen really looked like. But I tell them, don't worry. Just by the open house, when we're ready, I can come in, assist, whatever you need. So don't wait. Let's not wait. And I'm sure we all know this, that when you're at the appointment, if they go, I'm not ready for 3 weeks, you sign. I did this in my office, and I ask the question. They're not ready. You're at the listing appointment. You have the paperwork out. They're not ready until the 25th. You're signing the listing paperwork. When do you date the paperwork? Somebody goes, the 25th. No, you don't. No, you don't. You date it today. It's always, doesn't matter when. Take out your office exclusive seller disclosure form or whatever else you need, right? But you sign it. So I don't care how long it's going to take you. And when you do that, if it's going to be 3 weeks, my listing is going to be 7 months, not 6 months, because I'm losing a month off the market waiting for you.
Oh, interesting.
Now, don't cut yourself short. Even though things might sell quicker, don't cut yourself short that way. I'm rounding it off to the end of the next month because you might not be ready for another 3 or 4 weeks, right? Okay, fine, bet.
Wait, so you're dating it, so you're signing today, but you're dating it a month from now? Or you're signing
Everything signed, they are bound to me the day we sign, right? Even if they're not ready for 3 weeks, right? But then take that office exclusive seller disclosure form, and what I like to do on that, because sometimes they don't know, I haven't gotten called out on it yet, so thus far, it has been working. Usually you would take that exclusive form, and remember back in the day, take it for 2 weeks exclusive. We used to do that all the time. On that office exclusive seller disclosure, I put the listing date that we just signed, And the end date of the office exclusive, I put the expiration date. I don't know when we're going to be ready to go on, so I'm covered for the whole entire time until we're ready. Because anybody here ever get audited by the MLS for your paperwork? Right? They'll just go like this. Usually, if you upload something after midnight, they get caught, they get swept up. I will not do that anymore. Happened to me twice. They must come into a fresh new system for the next audit and you just get swept right in or something. So do it at 11:59 and be the day before. You don't want to get caught up because you have to produce that paperwork, you know. And if it's not right, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Anyone else have any questions for Laura?
No, she was very good.
That's very good.
Yeah,
Can I share one more thing?
Yeah.
One more thing, because I pulled this in too, because, you know, I'm thinking whatever's going to work. I'm listening to the seller. We're not ready. No worries. I'll do this and this. You know what's going to work for this house? This is going to work ideal. We're going to do coming soon. You'll be on the market and not on the market at the same time. I'm just going to take a beautiful picture of the front of the house. We don't have to worry about the inside. Steve's coming on the 17th. Don't worry about that. We'll put you up for coming soon. Did anybody here ever do coming soon?
yeah, I didn't see it.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I learned to like it from being on the other end. I had a listing, beautiful house in Whitestone, like around 1.5, really nice. Buyers were coming in, right? There was a house down the block, beautiful as well, same price point. They did a coming soon. Anybody who was coming into my listing, we would be like, oh, are you interested? No, we're going to wait for that one to come on.
Oh.
They were willing to wait to see what was going to happen. So now I'm like, well, if I have somebody, yeah, clean out your garage. I'm putting you coming soon. And you know, you have up to 14 days, blah, 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 whatever and all that. I'm putting you out there because I'm going to, if that happened to me, I'm going to make it happen to somebody else, right? So that works. Even if you do it for 4 or 5 days, when you're not ready, it gets out there. And what happens too is when it gets out there, the buyers who are looking get the ding and the ping, and they will call you before they call another agent. All right? So you're doing not only that initial open house, but you're the coming soon, and it's causing that buyer to go, oh, and reach out to you direct. I did 2 recent in Queens, one in Whitestone, one in Maspeth, where I did the coming soon. Oh, this is what I did. Can I tell you? Can I do it 1 minute? 1 minute. Okay. 3 TOM, right? 3 days. So I do a listing coming soon. Open house is on Sunday. Okay? Open house on Sunday. My coming soon doesn't turn into on the market on that Sunday. That coming soon comes on the market on Friday. Now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm still within the 3 days. Buyers call me. I'll schedule on Friday. I can get you in on Saturday. Everybody's getting in. I'm not a blocker. Agents call me, open house on Sunday. I don't have to show it to them on Friday and Saturday because it's within the 3 days. So I am able to funnel the buyers, have the time with them face to face at an open house. Are you really getting to speak to people? Find out, you know, how interested they are. Maybe if they don't like that, you could pick them up as a buyer for something else. So I give myself that opportunity and schedule, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 on the Friday or the Saturday, and get that one-on-one. And I said, are you not just showing anybody, he's not the neighbor, are you pre-approved, whatever? Sure. Now, if an agent says, my buyer's not going to be here, they're leaving the country, all right, I'll get you in on Saturday, no big deal. I'm not a blocker. But I have more control, and it's going to turn out better for the seller if I can get the face-to-face with the ready, willing, and able buyer without mayhem, right? So your coming soon ends within 3 days of your open house day. And you get it all covered. Works. Right? And you share stuff like that. This is my strategy. This is my plan. Coming soon to do this. I get the people in face to face. They go, wow, really? Yeah. Works. And it's exciting. I get excited about doing those things because, you know, you see how it works. And here's a homeowner is like, they're going to be like, wow, she's thinking. She's going to be working. She's going to be putting effort into this. You know, so that's my thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
here.
I'm leaving this here.
Thank you. All right. You got to sign that out from my office. Okay.
I don't even know if you caught me on that. I was moving around.